Well, hello there, Vlad here. Welcome to my studio. This is the Jazzmaster Build Diary episode number 9. And if you wonder what this is, like you are not familiar with the series, I'm attending a guitar building course where each of us there build whatever electric guitar they wish to build, or a bass in some people's cases. And there's a great teacher that kind of instructs us all the next phases of what to do. And this is my third instrument I'm building this way. My white telly and a 335-ish things are both done that way as well. This time I'm building a Jazzmaster, and if you want to check out the previous episodes and see like why I'm building a Jazzmaster, what are the wood choices, what are the first phases of this guitar build, there's a playlist somewhere on the screen, or like the playlist card, and I'm also going to put the playlist in the description as well, so go check those out. But moving forward, so it's been a while since I posted the last episode. The last one was like April or May, something like that. The whole guitar building course was on a long summer break. I attended the course second time this fall. I'm attending the kind of weekend version of the course, so once a month we go there for kind of a full work day. On Saturday, it's from 10 a.m. to around 5 p.m. And yeah, we spend a whole day building our own instruments. And yeah, last time I was in a kind of time constraint. I arrived late and had to leave early. So I felt I didn't make enough progress to justify a full episode. So now you're getting like 2 full build days worth of progress on the guitar. And right now, looks like this. I also have a neck over here. I'm using this really amazing iPhone cam, and as you can maybe tell, let's see, there's a bit of radius going on the fretboard already, stuff like that. But yeah, let me walk you through what happened since the last time basically. So where I picked off this fall was that the guitar body was still missing like one clear coat layer before I could like do the final sanding and polish the body, and then it would be ready. So that's what I did. I tried to be super careful while sanding, so I don't sand through the coat layers and into the paint. And also when applying the coat layers, the last ones, I tried to be super careful that it doesn't like leak or drip. I'm not sure what term to use here, but let me know what it is like if you apply a bit too much lacquer and you get like these drops. What's the term? Let me know in the comments, please. I'd love to know that, to use the correct terms. But yeah, try to be super careful, and I think it succeeded pretty well. I might have been a tiny bit conservative with the amount of lacquer in some places, but overall I was pretty happy. I didn't want to have a too thick coat layer on the guitar anyway. I kind of wanted to wear out over time faster, and I also feel like it doesn't like deaden the resonance of the wood as much. It really depends on the guitar, but like on my telly the clear coat layers are pretty thin, and I think that kind of affects how it resonates, and I just like that a lot. This whole process took a few hours because I had to be careful with the sanding, then applying the coat layer, and well, just all of that takes time doing the cleanup. After that, I had to tackle a mistake that I made the last time, so like the last time in the spring, where I kind of cut one of the fret slots slightly crooked, and you can see in the footage that yeah, it was a bit off. So what I ended up doing, and I actually ended up fixing 2 of those at the same time, I ended up filling them with super glue, and once it was dry, I sanded to the level of the rest of the fretboard, and then I made new cuts with this fun looking bamboo knife saw thingy. And now they're much more straight. Visually it's kind of funny because it still seems like it's crooked, but it isn't actually. And when I will be actually putting frets on top of those kind of cuts, you won't see what's happening underneath, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, those should be now fixed, and I shouldn't have as much, at least, tuning issues as I would have otherwise. The next thing to do was cutting part of the headstock out, which is kind of a funky feeling, like you work on this piece of wood for a while and then you suddenly need to cut some of it off. Yeah, basically like in the beginning this is a flat surface completely, and in order to get some angle on the strings and everything, we basically cut out like, I want to say 40-ish% of this, and you can see the footage like how you measure it, and you can see in the book what kind of saw you use. I made a pretty like straight cut up to here roughly, and then I would go to a belt sander, and then I would sand it to like a nice round corner type of thing, as you can see on the footage as well. So those were the only things I managed to do on the first course this fall, and yeah, where I picked up yesterday was the fact that all the coat layers for the body had been done, and the next thing for me to do was to sand the body, like do the final sanding to like a 4000 grit before buffing it. So I would have 1000 grit sandpaper, which I started with, and also some, I don't know, it's called lamp oil in Finland, it might be called different oil in some other countries, but the idea is like that fine sandpaper would kind of get I don't know, it would just stop working after a while because all of the pores of the sandpaper would be filled with dust. So when applying that oil, it kind of helps to keep it I don't know, porous. So the pores of the sandpaper are kind of open, and it actually does what it's supposed to do. I don't know the term, but I think you get the idea. So to always apply a little bit of oil on the guitar, and then sand from all of the places. And basically I would like try to look from all of the angles so that the guitar doesn't have any like shiny spots, so you can't see kind of small shiny spots here and there, and like that took me a while, and actually my right arm is still hurting from all of this because you always had to sand down with like a round motion so you wouldn't make any scratches on the guitar. And yeah, that took a while, and then I would repeat the process with a 2000 and 4000 grit. It's kind of sanding pad type of thing, but actually like you could actually add the oil into that and then just keep sanding, and every now and then I would have to wipe the guitar clean and check like what's the progress. And once that was done, it was time to do buffing, and I was a little bit nervous about that because I have some traumatic experiences in my previous build. Let me get the black guitar quickly. So this is my second build that I've made on these courses, and something most of you probably don't know, and it's something that I've also only mentioned in the kind of introduction video I've made of this guitar. Let me engage my amazing secondary cam. Something that you have probably never seen is this. While buffing this guitar, there was the buffing rotating thing that does the actual buffing, and then there was like a screw next to it that you used to tighten the rotating thing, and somehow my hand slipped, and that big screw, I think I might have a photo of that, big screw basically sunk into the guitar over here, and this has been filled with epoxy and painted over it and stuff like that. Still looks a little bit ugly, but nobody's seeing it when I'm playing the guitar, and I'm not even noticing it when I'm playing the guitar. But yeah, I mean, it's there. I don't know if that camera will pick up anything. So yeah, as I mentioned, I had a bit of traumatic experience with buffing last time, so I was a bit nervous. Luckily, having buffed two guitars, I was already familiar with like how much strength it requires to hold the body down, because that thing is spinning fast, and the more you kind of apply pressure, the more it tries to pull your guitar down or up, depending on the kind of direction it's rotating to. And I also try to be super careful not to buff kind of through the coat layers. So yeah, I was familiar with all of those aspects. It went well most of the time. But there just had to be one slip where I hit the metal thing next to the buffing thing. I just managed to have the body in a slightly wrong angle, and it managed to chip away a little piece of paint over here. When I have the neck here, and there will be like a neck plate and everything, that thing will be barely visible, but it's there. And this means none of my guitars I've built will be perfect. Well, they wouldn't be perfect anyway, but yeah, that's what happened. Somehow I ended up just being happy that I didn't make any worse damage. I can live with that, and all of this will be secret between you and me. So, shh, to everyone else, this guitar is perfect. Overall though, I'm really happy with how the buffing turned out. It's really difficult to shoot it here because you can just see all of the reflections in the room through this because I have bright lights pointing at me. But yeah, overall I think it turned out pretty well. And something that I might still do is, like, if you take a look at the knot thingy here, you can see that there's dust inside these little holes. I've been sanding this guitar a lot, and like a lot of fine dust get inside over there. I kind of want to get rid of that so these kind of don't look as white. So I don't know, I'll try a vacuum cleaner. I might also like need a metal stick or something to poke through these so they don't look as white. Maybe use like a Sharpie to make them dark or something, just so this will look a bit nicer overall. But I love how this knot turned out. Like, it's a huge hole and goes through the body, and it feels smooth. There's a little bit of texture left here, but I want it to be that way. So once we have all of the parts on the guitar in place and everything, I think it will look super cool. And the last thing that I managed to do yesterday was started working on the radius of the fretboard. As you can see in the footage, first of all, I had to do some measuring 4mm from both sides from the fretboard. This is the first time I've done that by hand against the belt sander. On the two previous builds, I think I did everything by hand just to kind of learn the process. But it takes more time, and especially maple fretboard is much harder than the rosewood fretboards I have on those guitars. I kind of wanted to make the build slightly faster by using the belt sander. So that's what I did, just kind of smooth movements against the belt sander surface, always trying to measure that it's as thick on all of the sides as it's supposed to be, so it's even. It still might be just a little bit off, but this isn't the final version of this fretboard radius just yet. And yeah, then I put it on the table against the guide. After belt sanding, I actually had to kind of redo some of the fret slots as well because some of them were kind of sanded off. So I did that and then started kind of doing more radius sanding by hand. Over here it's 9.5 inch radius, and over here I'm slightly applying like a 12-inch radius one. So 9.5 over here and kind of smoothly transitions into 12 over here for kind of natural, smooth, modern feel on otherwise pretty kind of vintage spec guitar. Obviously the same will have to be done with frets as well once they're in place. Do the 9.5 radius here and kind of smooth it out here. But I managed to do this successfully on my telly. It has jumbo frets and it has like, I want to say it's around 10 to 11.5-ish radius, and it's really good. It doesn't feel too modern, not too vintage either, and it kind of smoothly transitions on the upper frets, so it has like a modern kind of easier playability, to me at least, but it's still kind of very vintage spec. So that's what I'm working on next, and that's pretty much what I managed to do over these two courses. Right now it's looking like I might have this done by Christmas. I think we still have two courses left. Yeah, there's the November and the December one, I think. So I'm optimistic. I think next time it will be mostly about just putting this together, like doing the fretboard radius, then putting on the frets, sanding them from the sides, doing the radius on the frets as well, and then it will be carving out the neck shape. That might keep me busy for the whole 8 hours or so that I will be there next time. We'll see, I'm not 100% sure. And then maybe the last time we'll be just putting all of it together. I also plan to apply this kind of oil finish on the whole neck, similar what I have on my telly. Just a second. Obviously this telly has a rosewood fretboard, so it's a bit different that way, but this is like a completely unfinished neck, except that I've applied this kind of I don't know, gun oil or something like that onto it. It has a really nice color and it feels super smooth and doesn't seem to be collecting a lot of dirt either. So that's what I plan to do with this as well. You can see the color differences on these right now. And yeah, I think this will probably look a bit like that, and I think it will match the body color on the Jazzmaster really nicely, so it will be like nice, cohesive, what's the word? One of those. It will look like a match, that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's where we are build-wise right now. Body is pretty much done, except applying all of the hardware and wiring everything. Wiring on these guitars is easy because I can just make a pick guard and put everything on that and just throw it in over here. So that's really cool. There's still a lot of work to do on the neck. I actually don't have any strap pins for this, I think. I need to go and buy some strap locks or something. So that's something to do, and yeah, I'm excited. I really hope to get this done this year. But yeah, that wraps up the Jazzmaster build diary number 9. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below, ask any questions you might have. Catpic Studios t-shirts if you want to support what I do. Catpic Studios jam tracks if you want to support what I do. Links below in the description for both. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell as well. Thanks for watching this video. I shall see you next time. Doesn't look stupid at all. Bye.